The Andalite Chronicles by K.A. Applegate. Prologue. My name is Elfangor. I am an Andalite prince, and I am about to die. My fighter is damaged. I have crash-landed on the surface of the planet called Earth. I believe that my great dome ship has been destroyed, and I fear that my little brother Aximili is already dead. We did not expect the Yeerks to be here in such force. We made a mistake. We underestimated the Yeerks, not for the first time. We would have defeated their pool ship and its fighters, but there was a blade ship in orbit as well. The blade ship of Visser III. 2 Yeerk bug fighters are landing on either side of me now. The abomination Visser III is here as well. I can feel him. I can sense his evil. I cannot defeat the Visser in one-on-one combat. I am weak from my injuries. Too weak to morph. Too weak to fight. This is my Hiraktalest, my final statement. I have formed the mental link to the thought-speak transponder in my fighter's computer. I will record my memories before the Yeerks annihilate all trace of me. If this message someday reaches the Andalite world, I want the truth to be known. I am called a great warrior, a hero, but there is a great deal that no Andalite knows about me. I have not lied, but I have kept the truth a secret. This is not my first visit to Earth. I spent many years on Earth, and yet no time at all. I landed here now in this construction site because I was looking for a great weapon, the Time Matrix. The existence of this weapon is also a secret. So many secrets in my life. Mistakes. Things I should have done. All the strands of my strange life seem to be coming together. It all seems inevitable now. Of course my death would come on Earth. Of course the child would be here. Of course it would be Visser III who would take my life. I am too weak to locate the time ship now. I will die here. But I have left a legacy. Visser III thinks he has won our long private war, but I have left a little surprise behind. I have given the morphing power to 5 human youths. I know that in doing this, I have broken Andalite law. I know that this action will be condemned by all my people. But the Yeerks are here on Earth. Visser III is here. The humans must be given a chance to resist. The human race cannot fall to the Yeerks the way the Hork-Bajir race did. I have given the morphing power to 5 young humans. Children, really. But sometimes children can accomplish amazing things. I have no choice but to hope. Because it was I who created Visser III. I who caused the abomination. I cannot go peacefully to my death, knowing that I created the creature who will enslave the human race. I came to this place, this empty construction site, looking for the weapon I know is hidden here. But there is no time now. No time. The Visser is here. He is laughing at my weakness. He is savoring his victory over me. This is the Hiraktalest of Elfangor Sirinal Shamtul, Andalite Prince. I open my mind in the ritual of death. I open my mind and let all my memories, all my secrets, go to be recorded by the computer. This is not just a message to my own people. I hope that someday humans will read it as well. Because humans are also my people. Lauren, and the boy I have just met, but not for the first time. Chapter 1. 21 years before. The Yeerks were loose. Like some terrifying disease, they spread their evil from planet to planet. They took species after species. They crushed all resistance. Their spider-like pool ships roamed throughout the galaxy. Their armies of taxons and Hork-Bajir, all under the control of Yeerk slugs, rampaged, killing, butchering, enslaving. They were annihilating entire planets. Only we Andalites stood against them, but we had been caught off guard. Our mighty dome ships, each more than a match for anything the Yeerks had, were spread too thin. Our spies, even though they used top-secret Andalite morphing technology, were unable to penetrate Yeerk's secrets. For 5 years, our princes had fought the Visers of the Yeerk Empire. They said the war could go on for another 50 years, another 100 years. We were outnumbered. We had fought many battles, and lost too many of them. But arrogant as I was confident that if only I could get into the fight, I could make a difference. I, Elfangor, was going to become a great warrior, a prince, a hero. I was posted as an Arish, a cadet, to the dome ship's Star Sword. But so far, after 6 months in space looking for an elusive Yeerk task force, I had not exactly proven myself to be a great hero. In fact, I had proven myself to be a clumsy, slow-witted, and quite possibly hopeless fool. At least according to my instructors. Aris Elfangor, how many times do I have to tell you? The killing blow should be as graceful as it is fast. Sophor yelled his thought-speak loudly enough that half the ship probably heard him. I stood facing him, trying to stand light and easy on my 4 hooves, just like I was supposed to. At the same time, I had to think about where my weight was centered, and whether the tilt of my upper body signaled when I was going to strike, and whether the grass floor under my hooves was uneven, and whether my hands were out of the way, and about a million other things a warrior should know for tail fighting. Sophor was bigger than me. He was a full warrior, while I was just a lowly Arith, a warrior cadet. If this had been an actual battle, Sophor would have sliced me up 20 different ways in less than a second. Maybe. Sometimes I thought I'd be faster and better if it was a real battle, not just a lesson. I was sure if my life depended on it, I could win. In any case, Sophor was not my enemy. He was my teacher. "Watch my eyes, not my tail," Sophor said. "My main eyes, you nitwit, not my stock eyes. Keep your main eyes on mine, your stock eyes on my tail." I watched his main eyes, but it wasn't easy. His left eye had a huge scar running right beneath it. I tried to focus all my thoughts down to nothingness, just like Sophor had taught me. "Your mind will never know when it is time to strike. Only your instinct can guide you," he reminded me. Suddenly, thwap! I fired the muscles in my tail. The bladed tip cracked the air. It moved so fast. I could barely see my own tail as it struck. The blade arched over my head towards Sophore's face, and I thought, hey, maybe old Sophor will end up with a new scar. If I landed a blow on Sophor, I'd be a hero with every poor Arith who had ever suffered under him. Then, swoop! Fwap, fwap, fwap! Sophor blocked my tail blade with his tail, turned it aside, and in about 1/10 of a second delivered 3 lightning blows. 1 to each side of my head, and a third that left his razor-sharp tail blade pressed right up against my throat. The blows stopped just a hair from cutting my skin. If Sophor so much as twitched, he could remove my head from my soldiers. "Not bad, Arith Elfangor," Sophor said with a laugh. "Not bad at all. That strike of yours could almost have hit me. If I were asleep." He laughed again and pulled his tail away. "Remember, don't think about it. Do it. You're too intellectual. You think too much. You should be a scientist, not a warrior. There's no time for thought in a fight. There's only time for your training to join with your instinct." "I guess even you must have forgotten that once," I muttered. I regretted the words the instant they were out of my head. Sophor turned his stock eyes toward me. He had a dangerous expression. "What did you say, Aris?" "Nothing, just, nothing," I stammered. But I was staring at the scar below his eye the whole time. "Ah, I see. You've noticed my little scar. Yes, quite a nasty cut. Know how I got it?" I shook my head. What was I doing, getting smart with Sophor? What was the matter with me? Was I insane? "I got this scar from my own teacher. He wasn't as sweet and understanding as I am. He didn't like uppity Ariths." The old warrior laughed at his own wit, turned away, and went galloping off across the grass, holding his tail as high as an Andalite half his age would. I breathed a huge sigh of relief. I looked around the dome to see whether anyone else was watching me be humiliated. The dome of a dome ship is a circular area about 1/3 of a mile across. It is filled with grass, trees, ground rushes, and flowers. There's a lake in the middle, and a stream that runs around the circumference. It's as much like home as it can be. You'd almost think you were running across any well-kept area on the homeworld. But when you look up, you see that you are in space, protected only by a clear plastic bubble, a dome. I saw other warriors off running across the grass, feeding and playing and practicing their skills, but none seemed to be watching me. I replayed the fight with Sephor. How had he known the exact second when I would strike? What had given me away? What was the matter with me? Was I actually mad because Sephor was faster than me? Of course he was a better fighter than me. He'd been in more battles than I could imagine. But it still made me angry. I didn't like people laughing at me, and I didn't like losing. Through my stock eyes, I saw someone coming up behind me. He'd been hidden by a stand of trees. I recognized him immediately, of course. Arbron. We were the only two Oriths. Great. More bad news. I didn't really like Arbron much. He was very competitive with me. And still, he never seemed to take anything seriously. "Well, hello, Elfangor," he said. "Having fun with the old Yerk killer?" "Hello, Oriths, Arbron," I said, so stiffly I sounded like my own father. I don't think it's very respectful to refer to Sephor as the old Yerk killer. He is a full warrior, after all, and our personal combat instructor. Now Arbron laughed at me. "Yeah, right, Elfangor, like you're so respectful. Teach me to be as respectful as you, please." He laughed again, and I was starting to get even angrier. It was bad enough having Sephor laugh at me. At least he outranked me. But Arbron was just a lowly Oriths like me. Lowlier because I had 4 days seniority over him. "This is a dome ship, not a play field," I said. Arbron kicked lightly at the grass with one foot in a gesture of contempt. Then he said the insult that went with the gesture. "Elfangor, when are you going to get your hooves back on the grass and out of the air?" Some of us actually care about being better fighters. The people need us. These are evil times. Arbron laughed. "You don't fool me. You're not some mighty prince or hero. You're just another scared, confused Orith on his big first deep space mission. And by the way, you shift your weight to your left hind leg when you get ready to strike. That's how old Sephor knew." I was getting ready to say something really crushing to Arbron, but just then there came an announcement. It was a direct beam thought speak summons. "Oriths, Elfangor, and Arbron to the battle bridge." I stared at Arbron. He stared at me. We were both frozen in place. Our argument was totally forgotten because we were both busy being shocked and horrified. See, it was impossible. Neither of us had ever been to the battle bridge. The battle bridge was where the captain was. And the captain of a dome ship is like one of the ancient gods. I mean, captains don't even look at Oriths. "What did we do?" Arbron asked anxiously. "I don't know," I moaned, "but it must have been really out of line." "We're in trouble. We are in definite trouble," Arbron said.